Please personalize your portfolios. Explosion. For the last couple of months, I've been reviewing a lot of portfolios ranging from students, the community, and anyone else that basically asked on Twitter or whatever for free, because why not? And also it's content. It's content. Baby, I need that content. And although there are amazing pieces of art throughout all the portfolios I've seen, there's been 3 big issues I've noticed with every portfolio I reviewed. The first one being, none of these are personalized for what they want to do. I see a lot of students lack a clear direction on what to make, what they want to do. They kind of just see certain things. They're like, I'm going to just try it. I'm going to just do it, which is awesome. You should do it, but you need to have it set up in a way that allows employers and people that are going to pay you that it fits what they need. You're not going to go work at a French bakery without ever making a croissant, right? Sticking in that mindset, like if you want to go work at Naughty Dog, look on their art station, look on the art draw. If you notice, they use a lot of trims, they use a lot of simple geometry, they use a lot of really good set dressing placements. Like if the window's open, you're going to see leaves on the floor, you're going to see mold in certain areas. You're gonna, like, everything is gonna tell a story in a very small amount of time. You're not gonna use many tilables. You will use some tilables. You're gonna use a lot of vertex blending. You're gonna use a lot of good stuff there. If you're gonna go to God of War, you're gonna use a lot of sculpts. If you're gonna go to Valorant, for Valorant, they use a lot of hand painted stuff. They use a lot of modular pieces. They use a lot of simpler shapes because you have to have the game run at 120 frames per second and everything's gotta be fast. Go, go, go. You need to really focus and tone in your own portfolio to whatever you want to do, because that makes you more appealing. For example, every job, like if I go to my old work, you will see, hold on, let's pull that up actually. Excuse me. If I go through my old portfolios, I would always take a look at something I would see. For example, if I go to this piece, this is 100% a title you would see in Call of Duty. They use a lot of photo scan data and you learn how to make your own blends and stuff. When I was really in a God of War, you would have these older pieces that would go up to like learn how to sculpt things. Even though they're not inherently good, you still see the idea behind it. What else is there? You would always end up trying to copy other people's work. And although you should eventually learn how to develop your own identity, even though you should learn how to develop your own identity, learning how to copy someone else's style or another company's style is so powerful to getting you hired. What's that quote? Great artists steal and shitty ones use AI or something? I don't know. This is straight out of Battlefield 1 or Medal of Honor. Mixture of like COD stuff still. Some old Resident Evil style stuff that I was really into. You know, I have a Death Stranding scene. Everyone that and their mother has a Death Stranding scene. Some old Valhalla stuff that I did in Unreal 4. Like, it's always focused on trying to find a way to emulate and understand different workflows. And that is a huge strength. And all those things eventually got me hired to work on Last of Us, Forza, COD, or whatever, all that good stuff. So learning how to make an art style your own while still emulating others. And a lot of these are easy to find. Like if you go on ArtStation, you could just look up. Boom. Last of Us, you have a breakdown. Like they use a lot. You can infer that they use a lot of Substance Designer. They use a lot of ZBrush. They break it down in a Maya and all that good stuff. You learn how to analyze and break things down, and that is a huge strength. Please learn how to focus your art to the studios you want to apply to. You're not going to do hyper realistic stuff and then apply to Blizzard, unless you're doing Diablo, I guess. Yeah. And also never feel bad about doing a piece of art just for yourself, because showing a lot more of your personality in your work is still great while still pushing your own sensibility for it. Don't be afraid to be inspired by other people's work. I think that's a huge issue that plagues a lot of people. It's like, oh, you're doing plagiarism stuff, you're cheating, da 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 da. That's not true. Everyone copies from someone. Another huge issue I've noticed is that you vary so much in the type of focus you're going to do. If you have hard surface, you have sculpting, you have all that stuff, that's really cool. But if all of it's only okay work, it's not going to give you the attention you need. And for the love of all that is holy, do breakdowns of your work. I'm imploring you, please. Like, if you go to a project, if you go to anything, like for example here, this is one of my older projects, and it's not even one of the best examples of it. I break down a lot of assets, I break down the workflow, I show progress photos, and I'm being able to elaborate on a lot of the things I did here. You need to be able to talk about your work, your mindset, your process. Learning to properly communicate your own flow, your understanding, and even some of the issues you ran into along the way. Why were these things hard? Why did this work? Why didn't this work? Acknowledging your flaws. Those are so powerful to elaborate on. And you don't even need to write it up. You can, honestly, if you wrote an article on it or a breakdown in the description, that's cool, but make sure you talk about it. Like, really learn how to talk about your own work. And just go like, oh, I followed a tutorial. Why did you follow the tutorial? I learned that the hard way. A lot of, I remember I followed a tutorial for a destruction piece. Actually, hold on. It was me learning how to actually like sculpt out destruction. Very Last of Us inspired, obviously. And it was at that time, it's like, oh, hey, Fast Track did all this stuff. Why did he do this stuff? And when I interviewed for another place, I'm not going to name the studio, they turned around and were insanely brutal to me because I couldn't know how to talk about it. And it happens all the time. Also, I'm going to say this right now. If someone goes into anything and is like, oh, I only know this in Blender, I only know this in Houdini, I only know this in Maya, I only know this in whatever. Most softwares don't matter. The only thing that matters is that it affects the company's workflow. And even now, there's so many Blender to Maya to Unreal to whatever engine pipeline setup, it doesn't matter anymore. It may matter on occasion, depending on the studio and depending how bad your lead is. But people that try to gatekeep softwares for their own ego, they can just die in a hole. Lastly, the third thing I'm going to elaborate on is keep making stuff. Even if it's bad, even if you don't like it, finding smaller things to constantly iterate and learn on and put yourself in uncomfortable situations. If you want to make a Resident Evil scene, make a Resident Evil scene, figure out why it works. Want to do something Silent Hill, find one thing they did and use it in your workflow. Just iterate on these weird, super niche things that we love to focus on, and then add it to your repertoire. Learn to talk about it. Understanding how things are done is 90% of this job. If you can properly communicate how to do it, and you don't even need to know the technical side, and yet you will learn how to do it. But if you're at a job and they're gonna have different workflows, different constraints, different everything, you're working with a team here. You're gonna learn how to do these things and implement these things in their own workflow. So that is insanely awesome because most employers will not be able to teach you concepts on how to do things. Like, most people will never be able to teach you how to do concepts and nail them perfectly, but they will be able to teach you how to do it on the technical side, because that is a lot easier. They'll have information on it somewhere. So please do these things. It will make you 100% more. It'll give you a lot more attention, and it'll make things a lot easier. Just because you make something insanely beautiful and it can't run in a game, that's cool. It's really cool, but not being able to elaborate on it is a huge issue. 3 things. Focus your portfolio. Learn to be able to talk about your portfolio and keep making things to fill it up. Because the more you can show, the more it shows you actually have an output and a work ethic and all that good stuff. Because if you don't make anything, how can I know you're good?